One of the first things that I think is a real important topic before we get into the actual email marketing is something that happened in 2003, and that was a passage of what was called the Can-Spam Act of 2003. It became effective in 2004. And what is it? Well, just like any other government bill or law, the title is actually very deceiving. I kind of use the analogy, it's a lot like the changing of the name of the estate tax to the death tax. Essentially, what this act really does is it says, okay, you can go ahead and send spam as long as you follow these certain rules, because up until the passage of this law, every state in the union was starting to pass ridiculous spam laws of what was spam, what wasn't spam. Here's our penalty, here's our fine. It was just getting ridiculous, and what was happening was legitimate email senders went to the government and said, you know, look, we got a problem. Because our messages, this is our valid customer, or we have a relationship with this customer, and we can't get an email message to them without being labeled a spammer, and we don't want to worry about being sued by some state attorney general. What can we do? But it also, in the zeal to fix the problem, left a lot of loopholes. And so the Can-Spam Act breaks down to several parts. Well, first off, as I said, it allows you to send an unsolicited email message to someone, provided you meet certain rules, guidelines. And well, what are those guidelines? Well, first thing you can't do is put false or misleading information in the header of the email. That's a no-no. Can't do that. Can't lie about that. For example, who it's from or who it's to. It needs to have original email addresses and the domains that go with it. It requires the people you send the email message to have a opt-out method, a way of getting out of that email. And you have to stop emailing to them within 10 business days of receipt of the opt-out request. So that's really important that you do that. You have to identify the message as an advertisement. Okay, somewhere in there it's got to be very clear that it's an advertisement. And it can't be an advertisement for anything that's illegal or, you know, adult oriented or anything of that nature. It's got to be a straight up legitimate offer of a legal product to the intended recipient. You also have to include a valid physical address listed in the subject or in the body of the email. So you've got to have your place of business, the address there as well. So those are some of the requirements that you have to comply with the Can-Spam Act. Now, what happens if you get hit with a penalty? Well, the penalties can be as much as $11,000 per. So that's a significant amount of money. Some other things that you can't do. You cannot use a harvesting application like I talked about before. You can't go out there and start just taking harvesting email addresses to create your database. That's a no-no. You can't use what's called a dictionary attack, where you have a computer application that just makes up email addresses, just starts every name in the alphabet and starts blasting out that way. You can't use scripts or multiple email accounts to send out unsolicited email. That's also a no-no under the Can-Spam Act. You can't hijack other people's email servers to send out your email. That's also another huge no-no. Don't do that. There's some other things. I actually printed out got this stuff on the Can Spam Act. It's all available via Google. Let's see, you can't use deceiving or misleading messages when you're sending them out via email. You can't forge email domains. This all comes under control, by the way, of the consumer. What is it? The consumer FTC, Federal Trade Commission, gets it. Consumer Protection Agency handles the Can Spam Act. So there's a lot of government departments that gets involved with it. Look, I think at the end of the day, you really want to approach email marketing a lot differently than back in the old days, certainly. You want to be very professional about it. You want to be methodical about it. You want to look at that as another avenue of getting your company information to somebody who has truly an interest in what you do.